hour, hour and a half long, depending on what you need to see. But you will end at the admissions office. So any additional questions before you leave here today, you can get those questions answered. Specifically, if you have questions about majors also, I'm not going to be able to go through every individual major just because there's so many of you, but I'll do kind of like a broad overview of academics as well. But get things started, just give you a little bit of history and background on Flagler. We are a relatively young school. We've only been here since 1968, but we've had our roots here in St. Augustine since 1888. When you walked in, you probably saw that big castle-type building across the road. That is the Ponce de Leon Hall. That used to be the Ponce Hotel. It is a very historic hotel that was started here by this guy. That is Henry Flagler. That is our namesake. He does not know that we ever became a college, so he has nothing to do with us being an educational institution, but he founded that as a luxury hotel back in the 1800s. And just to give you a little factoid about that building, it had electricity before the White House. He had a lot of pretty big connections back in the day, so he was able to get Edison to put some electricity in there. So this is going to scroll through some of our most recent rankings. We're constantly rated by US News, World Report, Princeton Review. Some ratings that aren't up there that I still find important. We are named one of the top 10 campuses in the US. We are also named the #1 dining hall in the world. You will see why. You will go in there, you will see why. You will feel bad for eating a cheeseburger in that place. It is incredible. People rent it out for weddings. That's how incredible it is. So you'll get to see that. That is the largest collection of Tiffany glass in the world is in our dining hall. So going into our size, our total undergraduate student body here is about 2,400 students. I'll go into our class size in a little bit, but when you look at our student body, our students really do have a lot of impact on our campus. We want to make sure our students are very involved, whether it be through leadership opportunities or just external opportunities. Having a say in changes that happen on campus is very important for us too. We want to make sure that anything we're doing that's of course going to impact students on a daily basis, that the students have a say in that. Give you some examples. A couple of years ago, our students were complaining that we have waterfront property, but you didn't have access to it. So what we did is we put a dock on campus. We also put a kayak launch on campus. So now students can kayak and paddleboard whenever they want. We have our own kayaks that you can rent out whenever you want. I say rent out, you can just take them out. You're not paying anything to take the kayaks out. You can go fishing off of that dock. You can use the college's fishing license. You don't have to get your own fishing license. They do sunset yoga out there. They have dolphin sightings out there regularly, and every once in a while you see manatees out by that dock as well. So it's a cool place to just go out and sit as well. Give you kind of a sillier example of how students made a change on campus. When I started here, going on 7 years ago, our mascot costume was awful. Think of when like Disneyland opened and they didn't know how to make mascots. That's kind of what it looked like. So our students said, this doesn't represent us. We want a new costume. So they helped with redesigning it and fundraising for the new costume. Now we're considered the best mascot in our conference, but this is only 7 years ago. You can find the pictures of this on Google. It was awful. Our mascot's aligned with the Flagler Saints. I'm not going to go into all of that. So give you an idea of where our students are coming from. Almost 60% of last year's incoming class came from outside the state of Florida. By a show of hands, who here is not from Florida? We have 11 states represented today visiting overall on campus today. So we are definitely a destination school, and we're also not what you would consider a suitcase college. And what I mean by that is the type of college where students go home every weekend. We have students from all over the place. It's very hard for many students to get home. You're not going to drive 800 miles to go to mom and dad's house to get help with your laundry one weekend. So it's important to know that your friends are going to be here on weekends. There's always something to do. There's always something going on. It's not going to be a vacant ghost town on campus. That really adds to that college experience when you know that people are going to be on campus all the time. You're also going to be able to learn from students from different backgrounds. You know, it's not going to be just the same people that you grew up with. So everybody's going to have different opinions based on how they were raised, where they were raised. So it's going to lead to some unique discussions within the classroom and everything. And of course, you'll have your banter with, you know, sports teams and things like that. Food opinions. I'm originally from New Jersey, so I always complain about pizza and bagels in the state because obviously New Jersey's superior. If you want to know where to go, find me. I'll let you know the places to go to. So going back into our size, we're looking at about an average of 15 students to a classroom. This room we are sitting in is the closest thing we have to a lecture hall. There's nothing, and this room is probably never going to be filled for a classroom. So the largest classes probably are around 30 students, and those are likely just your math courses that everybody has to take kind of all at once. But otherwise, you're looking at usually closer to what that average is, or maybe even less. So obviously what that means is you're going to have that individual attention from professors, but it is important to know that you are always getting taught by professors. It's not graduate assistants, it's not teaching assistants in any of these classes. It is always directly with the professor, and the professors are the ones developing the curriculum. So you are able to work with them directly, obviously meet with them if you're struggling, but you get a lot of opportunity to get outside of the classroom, go on field trips, meet with professionals in the industry, work hands-on in the industry, and not just sit here looking at PowerPoints all day. You know, we want to make sure that you are in the field and doing the actual work that you'll be doing in the career. It could also just be a nice day like it is today, and they could say, hey, let's just go have class outside. We're just having a discussion today. Let's just go enjoy the weather and sit outside instead of being in where we are now, a windowless room. So it's nice to have that flexibility as well. All right, this is going to scroll through some pictures, but it's ultimately going to go into our student life. We have, I think it's going to say over 45 different clubs and activities. I think we're well over 50 at this point. Obviously, clubs are getting started every year based on different interests and things that come up. There's anything from major related to interest related, a lot of service-based organizations, including our Greek life. Our Greek life is not like what you would see on TV where there's like fraternity and sorority houses. They are more service and leadership-oriented organizations, kind of get you ready for moving forward in your life. We are NCAA in our athletics. We compete currently in the Peach Belt Conference, which is a Division II conference. We are top of conference in most of our sports, and we are actually nationally ranked in more than half of our sports. Currently, I will give you one example. Our women's lacrosse team is #1 in the country. And they are demolishing everybody. I think the last 3 games they have won by somewhat like, one of the games was like 25-3. One of them was like 22-4. Like teams aren't even coming close. So I say that because they could be our first national championship in school history. So pay attention to that as the spring continues. We have a lot of club and intramural sports as well. So if you're athletic but don't want to compete at an NCAA level, you can definitely compete there. Anything from beach volleyball to 3-on-3 basketball, a lot of like fitness organizations like yoga and Zumba and like weightlifting clubs. Nice. We also have, when I started at Flagler, the one club that caught my attention, we have a spirit club. And I thought that was just going and cheering on sports teams like school spirit, but that's not even close to what they do. They actually go into St. Augustine and do ghost hunting. So it's actual spirits. If you're familiar with St. Augustine at all, we're the oldest city in the country, so there's a lot of ghost stories, so that's what they do. They go do the ghost tours. And when they don't do that, they'll come in a room like this and just watch horror movies. So they're a very active club, so if you like that kind of stuff, I think they might have changed their name. I think they're the Haunting Club or something different, but when I started, it was just a spirit club, so I was confused, as a lot of people were. So speaking of our haunted little city, as you might already notice, we are in the heart of downtown St. Augustine where we're located. This is a vacation spot. Why that benefits you is because every day, every night of the week, there is going to be something going on. We have to entertain people that are here on vacation, and you are going to live where people vacation, which is fantastic. There is great food in every direction. We are named the #1 foodie city in the South. That's my favorite thing about this town. If you are interested in finding a place for lunch or dinner, we have a long list of restaurants that our students recommend for you back at our office, so we'll be able to give you that after your tour. Being a historic city, there's also a lot of history to explore, a lot of museums and everything in every direction, including, for some reason, 2 pirate museums. I don't know why we need 2, but we have 2 pirate museums. And a medieval torture museum, so it's fully interactive. If you want to try any medieval torture items out. We are also very well known for our music scene. Every day there's going to be at least 4 different venues that have live music. We also have a large amphitheater right across the bridge from us. It could technically be walking distance, but it would be a pretty long distance to walk. But we get larger name artists there. I'm not going to start listing artists. I don't know what you guys listen to anymore, but we get larger name artists there. Give you one example. I saw Adam Sandler there a couple of years ago, so I think everybody knows who Adam Sandler is at least. And then we're close to Jacksonville, Daytona, and we're only about 2 hours away from Orlando, so we're close to the theme parks as well. So essentially what I'm saying is if you're bored, just walk outside, there's something for you to do. Oh, and then the beaches are only 10 minutes away. So there's always something to do, no matter what day of the week it is. If you're bored, just walk outside, find something. It's an incredible place to live and be, and I hope you have a chance to explore after your tour here today. All right, I think this goes into our majors. So you probably already have an idea of what you would like to study when you're in college, but if not, that's completely okay. Undecided tends to be one of our most popular programs as well. We are primarily a liberal arts college, so that means some of our most popular majors are within areas of psychology, criminology, business, hospitality, things along those lines. But we also have a very popular coastal environmental science major, a brand new major in biology. So there's definitely a lot to be able to choose from, but because we are a liberal arts college, many students don't necessarily feel like one major is their perfect path into what they want to do in their career. You could be sitting here thinking, I have a couple different interests, which is completely okay. We have a lot of students that pick up minors, second majors to kind of create either a unique pathway for themselves or just cast a wider net for themselves into what they want to do. So if one career doesn't work out, they have a second major to fall back on and do that. We had an ambassador that graduated a few years ago, and I always use this as an example, as an extreme example, but she was 3 majors and 4 minors all at the same time. And the only reason I use her as an example is the college is your oyster. You can do as much as you want. I'm not encouraging you to necessarily do that much. That exhausts me just thinking about. If you're wondering, she's currently in law school, so that was no surprise to anybody at the college. But we can kind of get you to wherever you want to be. So this is just a full list of full majors. Anything here can basically be a minor as well, but there's also a full list of minors on our website that are not listed here. And that list is even longer than this list. So there's a lot that you can do. There's a lot of ways that you can kind of create that pathway for yourself. It's not something that you have to decide on at this point in the process. When you apply, you choose one major, or you can come in as undecided. After you start here, you can start working with your academic advisors to add on a minor or a second major. Okay, so these are our core values. This is kind of the focal point of everything that we do at Flagler through the classroom and our extracurriculars. Citizenship with integrity and thoughtful stewardship, kind of centered around building a relationship with our local community. We take up a lot of prime real estate here in downtown St. Augustine. We want to make sure that our students, staff, and faculty really give back to this community, preserve it for future generations. It's a historic town and a coastal town. We want to make sure that we are able to enjoy this for generations to come. But just strengthen our bond with St. Augustine, and for you guys to feel like locals yourselves. You're going to be here on a daily basis. We want you to not just feel like, oh, just the college students. We want you guys to feel like you are locals within this community. And one way we do actually, in a nice way, force students to do this is on days that we get off from school. So think like Martin Luther King Jr. Day. Instead of it just being a day where you sleep in until 11:30, we make it a day of service. So we'll have like 10 or 12 different service projects happening throughout St. Augustine that you can sign up for. and you sign up for a time slot. It's just like an hour or 2 hour time slot. It could be just cleaning up the beaches or volunteering at one of the museums, cleaning up the sidewalks, whatever it may be. Just to kind of get you out there and involved, because sometimes it's hard to find, like, all right, I want to be involved, but how do I get involved? So we make sure that you know how to find those things. Respectful, inclusive community. Simply, you saw, we have students from all across the globe here on campus. We had 11 countries represented in last year's incoming class. We have most of the states represented here as well. We just want this to be a respectful place, no matter where you come from, no matter what your beliefs are. We know we won't always agree on everything, but be able to at least have honest and open discussions with one another. And then transformative learning is a promise from us, the staff and faculty, that you will have a unique and transformative experience inside and outside the classroom. About 3 or 4 years ago, we started a brand new core curriculum program, which is pretty unique to most colleges. Historically, when you think of a college core curriculum, you're thinking, I have to take a certain amount of Englishes, histories, sciences, social sciences to really actually get into my major-related courses. For us, yes, of course you still have to take those courses, but they're not going to be by the traditional titles you're thinking of. So for like English, instead of taking Intro to Lit or like a Shakespeare class, you could choose to take the writings of Walt Disney as a class, or the writings of Harry Potter as a class. Instead of modern Western societies for history, you could take the history of St. Augustine. We've been here since the 1500s. There's a lot of history. Or you could do the history of surfing as a class. So those are just 4 examples of courses. There's at least 80 different courses you can choose from to complete your core requirements. So a couple benefits with that. Number 1, you're choosing classes that you actually have an interest in. We're not telling you have to take XYZ class, so you're just sitting through the motions and not really interested in the class that you're in. You're choosing a class that you have somewhat of an interest in, and we hope that you'll actually participate and enjoy the class that you're in. Number 2, the professors are the ones developing all these curriculums. So the professors are going to have a lot of passion about what they're teaching. So you're going to feel that passion in the classroom as well. Number 3, the way we have structured the scheduling of these courses, you will complete all of your core requirements in your first 3 semesters. So that means halfway through your sophomore year, you've completed all of your core requirements. You're not taking random English classes going into your senior year. You're not waiting to take a random history class in your senior year. Everything is done. You will just be in your major-related courses after that ends. Once you do complete that core curriculum program, you will transition into our flagship program. Flagship stands for Flagler Sophomore High Impact Program. This is a program where it takes place, there's 2 time frames that you can choose. So it's either the start of your winter break of your sophomore year or the start of your summer break at the end of your sophomore year. It's going to be like a 2 to 3 week study project, depending on what you choose to do. And there's 3 different options for it. So there's the local option where a group of students will do a study project within St. Augustine. For example, this year one group went to a potato farm that works with Lay's potato chips. They worked on understanding marketing and production and things along those lines. Another group went to the Fountain of Youth. If you're not familiar, the Fountain of Youth is right down the road here in St. Augustine. It doesn't work, promise, but they did a study project there about the founding of St. Augustine and everything like that. Second option would be a study away option. So we had a group that went to Massachusetts and did a Salem witch trial study. And then the third and the most popular option is going to be the study abroad option. Study abroad, this will be your first opportunity to do study abroad, is through the flagship program. We've had students this past year, they went to South Korea, did a pop culture study. They went to Zanzibar, they did a coral reef study. They went to Spain and did a photography course. They went to Turkey and did a women's study course. They went to Italy and they ate. It was a food class. Tough. So it's going to be, I think there's like 10 different trips that you can choose from. And it differs depending on if you do it during the winter or do it over the summer. So you'll get to look through that list when you're choosing what you want to do. If you have no interest in traveling, you just do the St. Augustine one and just stay nearby. And once that's done, you get to go on. So about 75% of our students are going to pursue some sort of extra work outside of the classroom, A lot of colleges are going to call that experiential learning, making sure that in your time in college, you're not just sitting through the motions, going to class, and that's kind of it. The way to think of this is, what is my resume going to look like when I graduate from college? Is it just going to say the college I went to, my major, and my GPA? Because that just took up about 3 lines of your resume. It doesn't really show that much. We want to show that you have leadership skills, time management skills, people skills, and most importantly, experience in the field. Research is going to be a big one, especially if you're in one of our science programs. They're going out and studying sea turtles. We've had history students go and work with anthropologists in St. Augustine. So there's a lot of different research and independent research that you can do. But the internship is going to be the most popular area. Just making sure that you're going out there and doing something more than just going to class every day. Really testing the water, seeing what you like about the industry that you're studying, but probably more importantly, what you don't like about the industry that you're studying. This way you actually know what to apply for when you're getting ready to apply for jobs, graduate schools, whatever it may be. When you're on that internship, if you see somebody that's in your dream role, like this is what I want to do for the rest of my life, interview them, ask them questions, see how they got there, how long it took them to get there, what they did, if they did any kind of additional work on the side. You're going to learn a lot based on their experiences alone. So these internships are really vital. We will help you in that process, which I'll talk about on the next slide. So these are going to be some of the other offices that you're going to be working with while you're at Flagler. The first one you'll kind of work with after the admissions office is the case office. There are advising office. I'm not going to list off their full name. Everybody just calls them case. So they're going to help you with setting up your schedule. If you're interested in a minor or second major, like I mentioned, they're going to help you with that. They're going to make sure that you're kind of on time to graduate and all those things. If you want to change your major, anything along those lines, they're going to be there for you. If you are coming in undecided, you will also have a specific advisor as an undecided student to kind of help you prepare for choosing a major or meeting with faculty within other majors if you're not sure what to choose. Learning Resource Center, just your tutoring center. So if you're struggling in any of your classes, you can schedule a tutor that you meet with weekly or bi-weekly or however often you want to meet with them. But they also have a place where you can just go. It's in the library, it's a section of the library. So say you're struggling in your math course and you just want to work on your homework or study for your exam in that area, they have tutors on demand. So if you just don't know what to do in a certain section, you can just ask a question, which is beneficial because you don't have to wait for a response from a professor if you shot an email to your professor. You have a tutor that's there right away that's able to help you if you need it. If you don't need it, you can just study there. It's a nice quiet area. Disability Resource Center, if you have any learning disabilities, IEPs, physical handicaps, they're going to make sure that your needs are met. They can work with you before you step on campus as well, just to make sure that we have all the resources available for you. Health and Wellness Department, nurses, nurse practitioners, doctors on campus, they can prescribe medication for you. If you just need an ibuprofen or something like that, you can stop by there as well. If anything happens after hours, our local hospital, UF Health, is only about 7 minutes away from campus, so we can get you over there as well. Wellness department, we have therapists and psychiatrists on campus, so anything for your mental health as well. We want to make sure you're taken care of no matter what you need. Center of Global Education. So if you want to pursue study abroad outside of the flagship program, they're going to help you with that process. They do encourage you to start asking them questions as early as your freshman year on campus if you know that you want to do a study abroad. This way we have a lot of time to kind of plan that out, figure out what time frame that we're going to be doing that trip on. If there's any payment required, what fundraising, grants, scholarships, or anything like that can look for to help you pay for those. Career Development Center. So they're the ones that are going to help you find those internships, full-time jobs, help you with finding graduate schools. They're going to help you with the interview process. So they will do mock interviews for you. So if you've never been on a job interview before, they will sit down with you, have a practice interview with you so you're prepared going into that. They will help you obviously with writing a resume. We will have job and internship fairs on campus. We will also have graduate schools come to campus as well. And they will recruit our students specifically for their programs, whether it be pre-vet program or an MBA program, whatever you are interested in. Office of Campus Excellence, they do a lot of different things, but one thing I'll kind of single in on, if you are interested in just finding like a mentor, somebody that you can talk to, whether it be within the career or a leader in the community, a leader on campus, just somebody that you can meet with maybe once a semester and just either talk about things, talk about life, talk about moving forward, getting ready for graduation, how to be successful in your career. We can match you up with somebody based on what your interests are. It's a really interesting program. It's not necessarily shadowing. It's not really like an internship. It's just developing a connection with somebody that's been successful. So it's just going to scroll through some of where our recent graduates have ended up, and we're going to put the flashy names up there because this is what everybody's familiar with. And it could be something that's close to your home. It could be something that's close to us, like the Jaguars. We have a student that's in charge of all non-football events for the Jaguar Stadium. So if they have a concert or a charity event on their site or anything like that, she would be in charge of that. I'm assuming her role is being transitioned to their new stadium in Orlando, but I don't know. That's all confusing still for all of us.
Wait, the Jaguars are moving to Orlando?
Temporarily while they get a new stadium.
Oh,
Moving
okay.
to Camping World Stadium in Orlando for, I think, at least
2
the
years.
next 2 to 3 years.
And how far is Orlando from here?
It's about 2 hours. Depending on which area of Orlando you go to.
Yeah.
The airport could be about an hour and a half, and then Disney could be about 2 hours. So we do have a lot of alumni that, of course, start their own businesses, take over their parents' businesses, family businesses, things like that. Just kind of one way that you can visualize this, if you do have a chance to walk around St. Augustine today, if you see our lion shield outside of any of the businesses or restaurants, that means they're owned and operated by a Flagler alumni. And you will see a lot of them. I would say almost half of the businesses and restaurants in town are Flagler alumni. Your benefit is they're going to offer you pretty good discounts. They will also be looking to hire Flagler students specifically. They treat our students very well still. So we of course have work study on campus, but a lot of students get jobs off campus because you could just walk downtown and there's hundreds of businesses and restaurants that you can get jobs at. All right, time for the fun stuff. All right, I'm going to try and click through all this so you see it all at once. We are a private school. Our total cost, including tuition, room, board, and fees, is about $54,000. Being a private school, that means it is the same for in-state and out-of-state students. There is no difference no matter where you're from. So don't think if like, oh, if I apply for residency in Florida, it's not going to make a difference on the cost. When you apply to Flagler, you're automatically applying for merit scholarships. Our main scholarship is the Presidential Merit Scholarship, which ranges upwards of $8,000 per year, and that stays with you every year, as long as you maintain a 2.5 GPA and full-time enrollment status. You will get that information with your acceptance letter to the college. There are also additional scholarships that you can qualify throughout that process. One of them is called the Make History Scholarship, which ranges upwards of $4,000, and there are a couple regional-based scholarships that you can also qualify for. There is nothing that you have to apply for directly with those scholarships. You will apply for them automatically when you apply to the college. We can always re-review those with new information. If you have senior grades, if you have new test scores, anything like that, we'd be happy to take a look at that and see if we can increase your scholarships at all. So you can always reach out to your admissions counselor for that type of review. We can't make any promises. It's all based on a calculation, so we can't just say you're doing well, we'll give you this. It needs to be through that calculation. So when I say that, I'm not making any promises that we can do it as well. And then, of course, about 97% of our students are going to receive additional aid through the financial aid process. If you're not already familiar, you'll be completing the FAFSA. That's a free application for federal student aid. That's how you'll get any kind of grants and loans to help pay the tuition cost. Those are all needs-based, so it's based on the household need that you would need to afford to attend Flagler. It's important to review it and see what the bottom line cost is going to be after you receive a final financial aid package. And I say that because Our tuition for a private school is less than about 50% of the private schools in the country. So I was doing a cost comparison a couple weeks ago for a family, and they said, well, we got $40,000 scholarship from this school. That school is $84,000 a year. That's why you got a $40,000 scholarship. So yes, our scholarships aren't as flashy, but our tuition's also not $84,000 a year. So it's important to see what the bottom line cost is. But like I said, we will do cost comparisons for you. So if you've been accepted to 5 different schools and have 5 different financial aid packages, send those all to your admissions counselor. We will do the cost comparison and tell you what the bottom line cost is going to be for each school. Even if we're not the most affordable, and in some cases we're not going to be the most affordable. We'll usually end up maybe somewhere in the middle also. But we want to make sure that you are well informed about what you're going to owe at each one of these schools, including us. We can help you with an appeals process. If you feel like we're not offering enough, we can help you with a financial aid appeal based on changes in, job status, anything like that. I do encourage you, no matter where you are in the process, to be applying for as many outside private scholarships as you can. Your high school is going to be your best resource for the local ones. But then make sure you're on the websites like College Board. Most of you probably have an account with them already. They have a scholarship search engine there. The website fastweb.com is the biggest one out there. They are the Amazon for scholarships, so make sure you're on that website. There's also an app for your phone by a company called Sally Mae. They're mostly known for doing student loans, but they just purchased a app for your phone that does scholarship kind of finding for you. Benefit of that one is you will get push notifications right to your phone when a new scholarship is available. So take advantage of as many applications to scholarships as you can. There's billions of dollars that go untouched every year simply because nobody even tried to apply to them. There's going to be a lot of oddly specific ones. Don't settle on just the ones that you feel like you fully qualify for. Apply even if you only just slightly qualify for it, because you could be the only one that applied for it, and they might just give it to you anyway. We have a lot of students that take this approach and have brought in too many scholarships to the point where they end up getting a refund check from the college. If you can get a refund check from the college, you're doing something right. Once you are established here on campus, that means just your first semester you are living on campus. There's going to be hundreds of endowed scholarships through Flagler that you'll be able to apply for. So there will be more scholarships once you're established on campus. Who here is accepted? Is anybody here accepted? One? Congratulations, you can ignore me the next 2 slides. These are our averages. The average accepted student had about 3.6 GPA, about almost a 1200 on the SAT, and about 25 on the ACT. We are test optional. Those are averages for students that submitted their test scores. We only require tests for students that are homeschooled or international. If you are not in any of those categories, you can go test optional. It's not going to hurt your chances of being accepted at all. In many cases, it benefits you going test optional because you'll get a higher scholarship being test optional in a lot of cases. So if you're not sure if you should go test optional, reach out to your admissions counselor, we'll let you know. We also try to see that on our end after you apply. If we see your tests are holding you back from the scholarship tier, we will email you and let you know and tell you, you should email me back and say you want to go test optional so we have it in writing. And that's usually a hint like, hey, you're going to qualify for like $1,000 more if you test optional. We have students that argue with us. They're too proud. They want to submit their test scores. Don't argue with us. We're trying to give you more money. I promise we are trying to help you. All right, steps to apply. All right. Application is available August 1st going into your senior year. That does not mean you need to wait up till midnight to apply. We are not going to read applications till the end of September. Take your time with submitting the application. It will go live August 1st, but you can take time with submitting that. It's going to be on our website and on the Common App. We have no preference to either. Whichever one you want to complete is fine by us. But I will be completely honest with you, your high school is going to prefer that you use the Common App. It's a lot easier for them to submit documents through Common App because they can use Naviance and submit it to every school you've applied to. Our website is perfectly fine. They just need to use Parchment or Score to submit the documents, and sometimes they complain about that. We get the brunt of that, not you. It's a $50 application fee. We will, of course, require your high school transcript. We are taking the weighted GPA off of your transcript, so we're taking that highest GPA printed on your transcript for your admission purposes. Academic letter of recommendation, that means it needs to be somebody that knows you on an academic level, so a teacher, school counselor, principal, vice principal. We only require one. You can submit as many as you want, but I do say it is quality over quantity. Do not submit 15 recommendation letters, because usually by the fourth one they say the same thing about you. We get a lot of like copy and paste recommendation letters. You'd be surprised on what some of these teachers submit. They don't even change the name in some of them. So we'll get a recommendation for Becky and it says Ben in the recommendation. So like, try to get somebody that really knows you and you really want to write your recommendation. Essay, we do read every essay to come through. This is our best opportunity to get to learn more about you since there's no interview required throughout the process. There are some extra open-ended sections on the application if you need to explain anything, like a change in schooling. Maybe you had poor grades early on, you want to explain why that happened, anything like that. We give you ample opportunity to explain yourself. And then, like I said, tests are optional. When you apply to Flagler, you are also going to get access to an application portal, which will keep track of all the documents that we receive. You can see the status of your application. You'll actually get your decision letter on there before it comes in the mail, unless you want to wait for it to come in the mail. So if you'll get an email that says your decision's ready, then you can open up your portal and see it there if you want to. All right, so next steps after you're accepted, it is a $500 enrollment deposit that reserves your spot on campus and in the residence halls. There's two different deadline dates. So if you submit an early decision application, meaning when you submit an early decision application, you're telling us that you have committed to Flagler upon applying. That deposit would be due by January 15th if you're accepted. Only submit that application if you are 125% committed to Flagler, no matter what. You know you can afford it, you're not really looking at any other schools necessarily. Only submit that if you are only committed to Flagler. Otherwise, the regular decision application has a May 1st deadline. So if you're looking at other schools or you just want to take your time throughout the process, really wait for the financial aid stuff to come through, just submit that one. Once you are deposited, you'll get access to your Flagler email, which will then in turn give you access to the housing portal where you can go in and choose your residence hall. You can choose your roommate. If you don't know a roommate already, there's a way that you can kind of go through there and meet people through that housing portal. We also have a Instagram every year for our incoming class. Just make sure you're following the official page. We will never charge you for posting your pictures. There are fake pages that come up every year. We can't get rid of them. We have no control over them. And for some reason, they charge you $5 to post a picture of yourself. Our page is free. We don't charge you. So make sure you're on that. Placement exams, you'll need to complete a math placement exam to come in to make sure we're placing you in a proper math course. This isn't a grade or anything like that. It's just making sure that you're properly placed and we're not overwhelming you in a specific type of college math course. If you are coming in with college credits, you might not have to take that if you took any math classes. We take a C or better in dual enrollment, a 3 or better on the AP exam, a 4 or better on the IB exam, and passing in Cambridge courses if you're coming in with any college level credits. And then you'll get, the housing assignment is almost instantaneous. You choose a room. If that room is available and has open beds, it's your room as soon as you click submit. So it's a very quick process. You choose an exact room. So you can choose the room that has views the fountain in the courtyard, views the sunset. Don't ask me which rooms those are. I don't know. You guys have to figure that out on your own. We do have some admitted events that you can look forward to. We do 2 admitted student days on campus, one in February and one in April. Optional events, but it's a great opportunity to learn everything you need to know about Flagler in a lot more detail. We also do receptions out of state and in state, but closer to your hometown. So we do it in Long Island, Toms River, New Jersey, King of Prussia, Pennsylvania, Severna Park, Maryland, Virginia Beach, Charleston, South Carolina, and then we do it in Boca, Winter Park, and Tampa Bay, Florida. So it's just more of a social opportunity for you to be able to meet more students from your hometown or closer to your hometown. Orientation, again, another optional event on campus that happens over the summer. It is an overnight event as well. You get to stay in the residence halls as a part of that orientation. But again, completely optional, especially if you would need to fly down for something like that. Don't feel like you are missing anything vital if you can't make that. And then move-in is typically around the third Friday of August. So this year it's going to be August 21st. And you get about 4 or 5 days to get acquainted to campus before classes actually start. So classes will start on like the following Wednesday. So you get a lot of time to get acquainted to campus and the town itself. And with that, I am done rambling. I told you that's a lot of information. Does anybody have any questions, comments, concerns, jokes?
I was what SHIP stood for when you were talking flagship program. What does it stand for again?
Flagler Sophomore High Impact Program. So it's just a 2 to 3 week study project during winter or summer break. Anything else? All right. Our ambassadors are here. If anything comes up after your tour is done, like I said, you'll all be in our office. We'll be happy to answer any more specific questions about your majors. Our financial aid office is also available in there, so if you want to get financial aid, they will be available as well too. Okay.
Awesome. Thanks, Sean. Good morning, everyone. We're going to be your student ambassadors for the day. So what we're going to do is quickly introduce ourselves and say what we're studying, where we're from, and then we're going to go back down the line and say who you're assigned on tour. There is a little bit of you, so once we say your name, just give us a good wave so we know who to look for. So starting off, my name is Matt. I'm a junior here at Flagler. I'm a theater arts major with a music minor with a focus in vocal performance, and I'm from St. Augustine, Florida.
Hi guys, I'm Charlotte, sophomore majoring in international studies and minoring in law and political science, and I'm originally from Sacramento, California.
Hi guys, I am Lydia. I'm a sophomore here. My major is psychology and I'm from Auburn, Maine.
Hi guys, my name is Bella. I'm from St. Louis, Missouri. I'm a senior here at Flagler and I study political science.
Hi, my name is Allie. I'm a sophomore currently studying criminology with a minor in law and I'm from Staten Island, New York.
Hi everyone, I'm Adriana. I'm a double major in coastal environmental science and biology with a minor in hospitality and tourism management. I'm from New York and I'm a senior here on campus.
Hi, I'm Bonnie and I'm from Georgia. I'm a sophomore here at Flagler and I'm a triple major in digital media production journalism, hospitality and tourism, and theater arts.
Now for assignments, I have Kylie.
Okay, I have Riley, James, and Kemper.
I have Faith.
I have John.
I have Eldon.
I'm Rachel.
Emma.
You guys enjoy your tours?